Annyeonghaseyo, this is meowmurai. Let's continue our game of the Crew Motorfest running on PC.
Glad to see you back at the Motorfest.
Let's see, were we done with Drift? I don't really recall.
Back to where we left off.
Oh, it says I'm almost done. So we should be okay doing this, I think.
Epilogue time. If you want to train one last time, follow Waimea Valley. The mountain road will take you to the climax.
Boy, that drift vehicle is not a good daily driver.
Icon. There is no other word for the next car. Besides being a natural-born drifter, this car is just the most precious thing in the world for your host. No need to say more. You already know the car and what it's capable of. We just couldn't go with any other car for the last drift versus street race. The RX-7, a drifting emperor.
Whoops. Oh, we're doing the RX-7. It's a classic vehicle. Hey there. What are you doing?
Baby, I'm so moved to see you with the RX-7 again. It's giving me goosebumps. That's how you do it. That's it, unleash the drift dragon. I think that the bird is ready to leave its nest. What more can I say? Well, maybe one thing. Show these guys what a true drifter is. This turn was vicious. Be careful, there are a few more like that. things will be tight. Final stretch. Give it everything! Congratulations! That was just perfect. See you later.
Yes, yes, thank you. Take a look at my armpits.
It's time to reap your reward. Your vehicle is ready for you to claim.
They are excellent.
It was so cool to see you get stronger as the playlist went on. You can be proud. Drifting is a discipline of precision. Winning an event is tough. So winning a whole playlist, it's more than just dumb luck. You've taken up the challenge. Now it's up to us to keep our promise. The Toyota Supra Drift Edition you got to know in the volcano is waiting for you. Once you get the car, go rock it on every corner of the island. There could be more drift challenges to come. You better keep hold of that mojo, driver.
Oh, we got the Supra.
A playlist is available, driver.
Next is Volume 2.
New playlist ahead. Let's go.
Ooh, oh, that feels way looser. That's quite the difference from the Mazda. I don't know if that's good or not. I mean, it's good for drifting specifically.
It's time to elevate your drift experience to the next level.
But maybe not much else. Just like how that Countach was good for going straight. As soon as I had to turn with the Countach, I was like, don't do that.
You've shown your drift prowess. Welcome to a new way to experience drift. The skills you've acquired in your first run will now be tested.
You know, they make these these locations look so beautiful, you know. And it's not that Hawaii isn't beautiful. I mean, it is, obviously. But it's certainly more beautiful than I remember. It'd be funny for somebody to attempt to do a racing in my area, you know. Have to try to factor in how to avoid all the homeless and all the transients. You know, the occasional bouts of freezing rain, which makes driving absolutely impossible. I certainly love it when folks from the Midwest who are maybe a little bit more used to extreme weather come in here with come and visit with a cocky attitude in winter, going, gosh, you guys just can't drive in winter weather. Not like where I'm from in the Midwest. And then they try to drive in the kind of freezing rain that we have here. And they quickly shut up.
Drift Experience 2 is a perfect marriage of sightseeing and skill. The more difficult the challenge, the more beautiful the sights get.
Yeah, freezing rain is quite the phenomena to drive through. Versus driving through snow, which is, incredibly easy in comparison. Of course, I don't mind driving through freezing rain, but it is a shock if you are not used to being able to stop. Like, at all. Period. Whenever you hit the brake. Oh, hey, how you doing? Yeah, hope you're having a good night. Kind of got a late start today, but I am doing well. Going through our normal variety of games. Oh yeah, super busy. Yeah, I hear you. My regular job, I'm also pretty busy. But yeah, there's never any pressure for me to join the streams. You know, you watch whenever you want. That's the good thing about YouTube, is that the content basically stays forever. All the folks that are on Twitch and Facebook gaming, they only have a limited time to watch the videos. You know, before they're automatically deleted. But so far, I'm enjoying this game. It's a much different experience than Test Drive Unlimited. I mean, it's a far more arcadey experience. On the default, right? If you don't turn on, if you just leave the default settings on and you don't start turning off assists. But it's still a good experience.
At this event, you're going to be curving around a monumental lighthouse with a slick new Toyota Supra.
And there are more than just cars in this game, so yeah, if you want to race boats and if you want to fly planes, it's an option as well.
The reactive powertrains and slick handling of the Toyota make it the perfect fit for apexes.
Oh my gosh. Oh yeah. That's my intention with the way the streams run. Is I guess I stream for busy people. Not necessarily for people who like just watch streams as their primary source of entertainment. Because I'm the same way. I mean, I'm super busy. So I know I don't necessarily want to watch a 3-hour stream or a 12-hour stream.
Let's see how you do in the first event.
If I ever do watch a stream like that, personally, I always put it on like 3 times or 2 times speed. I'm just like, oh no, I'm not going to watch all of this. I'm not going to watch somebody, order food and eat for half the stream, you know what I mean? Yeah, I think they've tried to do a lot of adjustment. At least the last couple patches, they've tried to adjust the AI in Test Drive. I mean, it is really hard. It's a hard AI. Like in this game, I mean, it's an absolute breeze. But I sort of think like the game just forces you to be good when you make the AI that hard. It's sort of like sort of the same thing that you can make arguments with on like a From Software game, right? A Souls-like game. It's like, yeah, the game's hard, but at the same time, it's also just kind of forcing you to be good. And I don't really think there's anything wrong with that. I mean, you've seen me struggle in Test Drive. I mean, I'm not that great at it, but I have fun with it, and eventually, I do get past all the challenges, even if it takes me a while. It takes me a day or two, kind of figure out just one track. I get it though. If you're like looking for instant satisfaction, and maybe you personally don't have like a lot of time to play games and don't want to play something that's that difficult. And the bad thing about Test Drive is that you don't have a choice, right? There's no difficulty setting. I mean, once the game gets to a certain level of difficulty, I mean, that's it. You can't do anything about that. So I get it. I get it. You know, they're valid concerns. They really are. Hey, you know, there are a certain like faction of gamer out there who don't really get they don't really get bored of winning, right? So like if a game is kind of easy and they're like just kicking ass all the time without being challenged, they don't really think that's a bad thing. I don't know how big that classic gamer is, but it seems like it's big, right? It's not a small group of people. I'm kind of in that bucket too sometimes, depending on the game, but I do like a little bit of challenge. Yeah, and I wouldn't even say Test Drive. I mean, there are games like a Gran Turismo 7, right? Gran Turismo 7 really does require perfection, but I think TDU isn't quite perfect. Like you can still kind of mess up a little bit in TDU. You just can't do it very often. So that's the real difference, you know. It's like if you're always and you know, I think the way the game is designed is that it's designed for perfection. You know, you're not supposed to beat those races the first time you play, right? Like this game, I think the difficulty is designed around somebody who has never played the track and can still win. Which again, if you're that kind of person, you know, I don't want to play a race. I don't want to race over and over again. You know, I don't want to grind that. Then maybe this is a more satisfying game. But if you are the kind of person who doesn't mind doing a little bit of grinding, doing a little bit of tinkering and learning the track, and maybe trying different kind of cars, then Test Drive is great. I do like the driving model quite a bit more in Test Drive than this game. But at the same time, I mean, I've played a lot of the content in Test Drive, so at this point in time, I really am grinding races over and over again. So if I were to give like the single biggest complaint about Test Drive is that there aren't enough tracks, and that's, I mean, and the game has a ton of tracks, but with the way you earn experience, you know, you end up playing tracks over and over again in order to get, you know, the right amount of cash and the right amount of experience to move up to the next level of or next class of car. Really, it needs about double the tracks. That way you're not feeling like you have to grind over and over again, and you're still getting new vehicles and earning new classes of racing. But I think that just takes time. God, the Super is just so it is so squirrely. Like I said, I understand it is a drift car, specifically made to drift, but holy moly, man, just the lightest touch makes this thing spin out of control with no subtlety at all. Yeah, I do hear you on Motorfest. Like I said, I don't like it as much as TDU, but I did need a break from TDU, quite frankly. I noticed that with my viewers too. My viewers don't like this game as much as TDU, which is really strange because I don't think TDU is. I don't think it's sold that well. you know, I think it sold okay. I think if anything, I think this game actually sold quite a bit more than TDU. But I guess it's, you know, the more the hardcore fan base that that's into TDU.
The Nissan R34.
Yeah, see, I'm not like full in the sim. Like if somebody asked me to play, you know, like F1 2024, you know, I may resist that one. or like Ride 5. I think it's 5. I think they're up to 5. Where that game is like, even the arcade mode in that game is all sim. I mean, you just have to be incredibly careful on tuning. And you really have to know when to, you know, when to brake and when to accelerate, when to coast. It's a very, very demanding game. Not quite there, but I do like what TDU does, and I do wish this game had a little bit more of TDU in it. But you know, it is made for a different crowd, a little more casual crowd.
The torque and traction will serve you well, if you know what you're doing.
I think this is definitely more for the Forza crowd, the Forza Horizon crowd. Except, you know, Forza Horizon's locked to a platform. You know, it's locked on the Xbox. So if you don't have an Xbox, then, you know, yeah, this is good to play if you don't have one of those. Yeah, that makes sense. Play more of the same games and learn about the tuning. Or at least how video games interpret tuning. I mean, that is kind of part of the fun, too, is tuning the vehicle to meet the needs of the race.
Driving is not the only movie star here, driver. The location is quite iconic as well.
Well, I mean, some people wouldn't consider it fun. But as far as TDU is concerned, yeah, that is part of the fun. I know, I do miss playing it. I just wish there was like more stuff that opened up. Or if I didn't quite have to grind so much to get to the next class of race. Like, it was going to be a while before I opened up hypercars. And I was like, well, you know, I don't know if somebody wants to watch me play the same 7 races over and over again that can get to, like, the max experience. I'm not sure how fun that is to watch. Yeah. I think TDU is. I mean, I get it that it's just really trying to concentrate on a good racing experience, but you do need a little more. You know, that's what this game provides. I mean, this game provides like a lot of different things. I mean, you're still racing, but you're doing like all different kinds of racing. You know, you're doing the slaloms, you're doing the drifting, you're doing the. I don't really count like the planes and the boats. That's not really what I'm here for in this game, but yeah, you're doing the off-road challenges. I mean, there's like so much to do in this game, even if it's in a very, very simplistic driving model. But again, I think TD will get there as long as people keep playing. And you know, whenever the price drops on TDU, I think that'll just get more people into it. Oh yeah, same. I love Hydro Thunder. It's kind of a shame they only really made 2 games, and one of them's sort of locked on the old PlayStation 3 store or the Xbox 360. It's like you really can't play it anymore. I think because I was missing Hydro Thunder, I played those Riptide games, kind of little lower budget racing games, which they were fun for what they were, and considering that they weren't made for anywhere near as much money as well, actually, Hydro Thunder really wasn't a very expensive production. Back in those days, it was like pretty small teams that made those games in Midway. I mean, it wasn't more than 20 people. It's amazing to think about, right? If you look at something like San Francisco Rush or even Rush 2049, I mean, that was like 15 people making that game. It wasn't very many.
Have you guessed it yet, driver?
Whereas now it's like hundreds of people, with international teams. Then again, you didn't have to worry about, drawing every blade of grass, making sure the trees, don't look like they're duplicated like you do now, Yeah, you don't have to worry about, calculating the light bouncing off of the road and whether or not it reflects off the windows, just kind of ridiculous things that we expect games to give us now. Or some of us. I don't know how many of us are like that, but
It's indeed the BMW
I mean, I'm not.
Z4.
If you ask me to look at the difference between racing in 1440p and 4K and 8K, I would struggle. I would struggle to tell you what the difference was. What the heck? Where does that go down? Just wants me to go off-road? Is there a road here? There isn't even a road here. What is going on with this GPS? Okay, some other dude fell for it too. What in the heck?
Stay sharp, driver.
It's like the old days of like the Harman Kardon, those Harman Kardon GPSs. The days of MapQuest. Just turn off this road here. It's like that road hasn't been there for 7 years. It leads to a cliff. Jetmoto, what is with the GPS here? Oh my god. That is going crazy, this GPS. I actually didn't play that much PS1. So yeah, I didn't get into Jetmoto. I was a Saturn owner back in those days. So I played a lot of Sega Rally. Played a lot of Daytona.
You've experienced the ins and outs of drift racing, and now you get to demonstrate how the power of your car matches the powerful sights of nature. Manoa Canyon tends to take one's breath away. Let's hope the hum of the waterfalls will soothe the roar.
Yeah,
of
Jetmoto
your
was never
racing,
something I
driver.
went back and revisited. Just like you know, like I knew a ton of people that were into Twisted Metal. And I think I went over to one of my friends' houses that went to that played like a ton of Twisted Metal. I remember being super impressed, but then like I always thought the control was kind of iffy. But again, you know, at the time I was used to like Sega racing games, so if you compare a Sega racing game to the, you know, the heyday of racing games on the PlayStation 1, you know, it's you know, just a different standard, I think. Oh my god. See, like, these drifting competitions they're super fun. I do wish TDU had them. I mean, I'm sure it wouldn't quite play like this. The Genesis. Yeah, I like the Genesis now more than I liked it back in the day. You know, it's kind of funny. Like, I think I appreciate the Genesis games more now that I've, you know, not in the heat of the console wars. And just not owning one, you know. I bought a Super Nintendo instead. Or actually, really, I bought a PC Engine. Or, you know, a TurboGrafx 16 in the States. And I really love that. And then I bought a Super Nintendo when I could afford it. But yeah, I didn't own a Genesis until much later. And for the most part, I used it to play like kind of the sim games and the shmups. You know, a couple of the big titles. You know, the Shinobi games that were on there, the Revenge of Shinobi and Shinobi 3, Splatterhouse games. They had the Rolling Thunders on there. Yeah, the Genesis is good times. It really is. Yeah, it's funny to think about Ultra Beast now being, you know, kind of just like an average beat 'em up. But, you know, it was such a big hit at the time. Yeah, everybody played it in the arcade. Yeah, Super NES is definitely high up there. I said I'm a little bit more fond of like the PC Engine and the TurboGrafx, so I'd put it just a little bit ahead of the Super Nintendo, but the Super Nintendo is there. I mean, you know, it's got some of the greatest games of all time. You know, that are still fun now, you know, generations later. And I think now that people are starting to appreciate the Genesis a little bit more too, you know. It also has some of the greatest games of all time, just not quite as high profile as I think the Super Nintendo.
in Europe as far as the
I think kind of the worst generation was that that initial 32-bit generation. So like the Jaguar and the 3DO. You know, it kind of kicked off that that next gen world, and then the games were just kind of not good. But you know, thankfully the Saturn and the PlayStation 1 came along, so we recovered. But boy, if things would have just continued along that Jaguar 3DO path, I think that might have killed gaming. And I personally like the Jaguar. You know, a limited selection of games that I like, but I liked it.
I did mention this will be busy, driver. The urban sprawl of Honolulu mixes well with dim-lit escapades. Don't get distracted by the allure of the city or the weather conditions. Keep your focus on those combos.
Nope. Oh no. Ah. You know, dead series I kind of miss is Midnight Club. You know, we made 3 games, which were all awesome, and then just series just dies. I miss Burnout too. Kind of wish Burnout was still around. But you know, I just had Burnout Paradise, and that was it. Those guys were done. Which I actually want to boot up here pretty soon. And just apply all the fan patches that they they made over the years for Burnout. Yeah, that is the one mistake they made. Is crash mode basically is not the same. If you still want good crash mode, then I think that was Burnout 4. I think that was the last one they made that actually had crash mode on it. And I think the last one was on like the 360. It's weird too. Some of the developers kind of broke off and made a game that was only crash mode, but you know it was not the same, and it was nowhere near as good as even the crash mode from like Burnout 2. Just goes to show you that sometimes you just need a lot of money behind you to make a good game, especially in a game that has like a complex crash physics.
I'm certain you enjoyed that particular ride, but you will need to keep that expert touch for what comes next. It would be a
But
shame
outside
to
of
not
crash
continue this
mode,
trip, driver.
Burnout
So
Paradise
maybe
is just
Dexter
fine.
prepared another supercar for
It was kind of fun to see
another
like the early
performance.
days of an open world racing
The
game.
McLaren 12C
You know, they broke a
is
lot of ground
perfect
with that game.
vessel for what you're about to attempt in the docks.
So funny. Burnout Revenge did have it, yes. They had a crash mode. I think that's the last one that had it. Actually, I think Burnout 4 might have been called Burnout Revenge. I think it got relabeled. I know, it's been a while. I don't remember either. I just know that it's basically impossible to play now without emulation. It's kind of the crappy thing. You know, the history of gaming just kind of disappears. You know, as yeah, let's see. Yeah, Burnout Revenge was the last one then. Well, it was Burnout Dominator, it looks like. I think. I guess that was PSP and PS2. I don't think I ever owned it. Maybe I'll have to dig it up and see if it's any good. I think I have a pretty good PSP emulator. It might be just be like a version of Burnout Revenge, though.
Pearl Harbor is your oyster for this run, driver. Make it count.
Oh boy, this challenge is a little harder. Or at least the course layout's a little harder. Whew. So, Stalker 2? Yeah, Stalker 2 is on my list. In fact, I think it's next week, right? I don't think it's this week. Or is it next month? I'll have to go check. There was some other big game that was coming out at around the same time as Stalker 2, which I was looking at on the Steam store. Oh, I just can't remember what it was. Oh, I was also looking at the Metro VR game. The problem is streaming a VR game is sort of funky. I don't know what it is about the output to TV screen of a streaming game, but it's like always tilted and it's always jittering all over the place, which is not the same experience as you're having when you have a VR set on. It's not like I'm just seeing the world shake constantly. And it's tilted to the right all the time. So they got to do something about that if they want to have streamers promote VR games, because like there's got to be a better way to show it without all of the jitter and the camera sensitivity. That, and I'm always like bumping into my mic if I if I play a VR game. And a lot of VR games want you to do all the sort of ridiculous motion controls, which I'm, not a super fan of. I don't know. I may try to play that one too. I do love the Metro series, and apparently it's really good. But it does make you do the silliness of scrounging around, searching your waist and holding your hands in the air. Because that totally makes sense when there's nothing connected to your hands and you want to use a sniper rifle or something like that. It's super ridiculous what they do with VR now. It's like, this is not fun, guys. Nor is it immersive, because I clearly know that my hands are not aligned. I can't even see them, so like if you ask me to put them parallel in front of my face, I don't even know how that looks. And I have a hard time doing it because the sensitivity is all super funky. I don't know. VR's got some problems for sure. At least if you just like to play a game. We'll see if there's a good setup for it. I'll try that one out too. Okay, that being said, why don't we stop it there? This is meowmurai. You've been watching the Crew Motorfest running on PC. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching, and I will see you at the next stream. What are we playing next? I don't know. Maybe Dragon Quest, I think? Anyway, thanks for watching, and have a good night, Hope Star.